Our top story this Monday morning, Montana's 2019 legislature opens today at the state capitol in Helena. MTM's chief political reporter Mike Dennison will be there and gives us a quick rundown on what's facing lawmakers this week and the rest of the session.
Montana's 150 lawmakers will be sworn in at noon today here in the House chambers. As far as formal activity, that's about it on this opening day. But one of the first controversial things this week is a possible change in the House rules. The main disagreement is over how many votes are needed to remove a bill from a House committee, a simple majority of 51 members, or the current rule that says a supermajority of at least 60 votes. Democrats and a group of Republican moderates say it should be only 51, thus making it harder for GOP leadership to kill certain bills they don't like, even though those bills may be supported by a majority of the House. Republican House leaders have been meeting with GOP moderates to see if they can work out a compromise. Votes on the House rules should happen this week, maybe even as early as today. Senate President Scott Sales acknowledges there's a split in the Republican Party between conservatives and moderates, but told us recently he's not that worried about it.
Republicans, we agree on more than we disagree. We're going to try to focus on the things that we agree on, which is taxes, living within our means.
Republicans control majorities in both the House and Senate, but the governor is a Democrat, Steve Bullock, which means compromise will have to occur this session if either side of the political aisle wants to get things done. Tops on the agenda is the future of Montana's Medicaid expansion program, which brings more than $500 million of federal money into the state each year and provides coverage to 100,000 low-income Montanans. It's set to expire in July. Most Republicans want to modify the program, while Bullock says it should be extended as is. Lawmakers also will be adjusting Bullock's proposed $10 billion two-year state budget and deciding whether to approve any of his proposed tax increases on tobacco, liquor, rental cars, and motels. We'll also see debate and action on infrastructure funds, drug policy, and education funding. It won't be long until lawmakers are putting in some long hours, and then it's 90 working days until the finish line in early May. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
MTN News will bring you full coverage of the session over the next 4 months. In this morning's national headlines, with the partial government shutdown now in its third week, President Trump is standing firm on his demand for more than $5 billion for a border wall. Democrats have refused. This week, they're expected to put some pressure on Senate Republicans by passing individual bills in the House to reopen certain government agencies. And Texas authorities have charged a black man in the killing of 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. Eric Black Jr. was captured by deputies over the weekend. The girl's family had originally told police the shooter was a white man in a red pickup, but the sheriff's office now says that person was probably just trying to escape the gunfire. Black says he was driving the SUV involved in the crime, but it was a passenger who pulled the trigger. Now we go to Circle, Montana, where schools are closed today. A post on the Circle Public Schools Facebook page says it's for the safety of students and staff. Although the posts don't specifically mention why, it appears the schools have been dealing with a threat since December 20th. On that day, the school wrote a threat has been investigated and law enforcement will be present. Then on January 1st, as students were getting ready to return from Christmas break, the schools made a decision to lock all doors to buildings for the rest of the week. A newsletter on the school's website instructs students to go to the library or auditorium if they have a class outside of the high school, and that there would be closed campus lunch. Then late last night, a Facebook post stated, "For the safety of our staff and students, we are closing school tomorrow." Q2 plans to reach out to Circle Public Schools to get more information on today's closure and if it's linked to the original December threat. It was a deadly weekend on Montana's highways in our region. On Sunday, an 80-year-old man was killed in a two-vehicle crash in Glendive. The man was driving a Chevy Silverado on Montana 200 when he crashed into the side of a tractor and flatbed trailer that was attempting to turn left and head eastbound on Montana 200 from the I-94 off-ramp. The 80-year-old victim was not wearing his seatbelt and was pronounced dead on scene. The 32-year-old flatbed driver from North Dakota was not injured in the crash. A 20-year-old male passenger was also not injured. Both men were wearing their seatbelts. And in Rosebud County, at least one person died in a crash that was reported just before 4 o'clock Sunday west of Forsyth. We're awaiting details on this crash, but we do know it happened on Reservation Creek Road off of Old Highway 10. So far, there have been 4 fatalities on Montana's highways since the start of the new year. A snowmobiler who was injured in an avalanche Saturday afternoon has died. The Choteau newspaper is reporting that Teton County Sheriff Keith Van Setten said searchers recovered the victim, who was injured in the avalanche in the Helena, Lewis, and Clark National Forest west of Choteau. The emergency call came in just after 4 p.m. Saturday. At that time, more than 30 people responded to aid in the search. Sunday afternoon, MTM spoke with one of those searchers involved in the recovery. He tells us that a party of 4 snowmobilers were traveling in the South Waldron Creek area when a large slide was triggered. 2 of the snowmobilers were involved in the slide. The victim of the avalanche was completely buried. Searchers say these were experienced snowmobilers and they were riding in a popular area about 40 minutes off of Teton Canyon Road. MTN confirmed with the victim's family he was Eric Grain of Choteau. The Grain family released the following statement to MTN saying, quote, "The family would like to thank all of the first responders, medical personnel, and community members for their response to this tragedy. Their tireless efforts are appreciated beyond words by all of the family. The love, care, and concern shown by everyone involved means so much to us. We politely request that the privacy of the family be respected as we mourn the loss of our loved one." In Livingston, a woman is offering a reward of $3,000 for information regarding the shooting of her 14-year-old horse. It was around 10 a.m. Tuesday when Tracy Gubler got a call about her horse laying dead in her pasture. Gubler says a livestock investigator and veterinarian have both confirmed that the horse was shot and killed earlier that morning. Gubler's other horse was fine, but she says someone else's horse was badly injured.
I was sick. I couldn't fathom that anybody would shoot a horse. They're not bad neighbors. They don't bark. They don't do anything to hurt anybody. So we were pretty upset about the whole process. And then my daughter didn't sleep for a whole day. You know, it's been hard.
Before we take a break, earlier we mentioned the partial government shutdown has entered its 3rd week. Here in Montana, some residents are stepping up to make sure Yellowstone National Park stays clean and open for business. MTN's John Scherer followed a volunteer cleanup crew in the northern part of the park and shows us how they start their Sunday.
This heated bathroom here at Mammoth has been closed since the shutdown began, but just a little ways up the road, there's an outhouse that's open, and while it might be a little chilly, this outhouse is practically spotless right now.
The lids, the seat, and any of the handrails.
About 30 volunteers met at a convenience store in Gardner Sunday morning to fan out across the northern part of the park. It was all organized by local businessman Chuck Tanner.
If the government shutdown continues, we'll just make it a thing we do every week. We got a lot of good people in this town, and who knows, it might even be a little fun.
Did he say cleaning toilets would be fun?
I don't like cleaning my bathroom, but we can get this one taken care of, all right?
Garbage bags and rubber gloves were handed out, and the volunteers stepped up.
We love Yellowstone National Park, and we feel being able to do anything to maintain the beauty of it and making sure that people can, you know, enjoy the park for years and years to come, and her kids.
For us, we're most appreciative of that, and we thank you and thank everybody for doing that.
Besides picking up the garbage and wiping down surfaces with disinfectant, the day's effort even included cleaning graffiti off a bathroom wall.
That's one less thing for people to have to see when they come in.
Tanner, like most of the people who live near the park, has a stake in keeping it open.
Their crowds are down, obviously, because a lot of people think the park's not even accessible. But for the most part, it's business as usual. And people are, you know, they're doing their cross-country skiing. A lot of photographers, a lot of just people getting away for the holiday season.
We come here a lot, many times, and the fee to come here is so minimal that we just feel we should give back.
And when the work was finished, Tanner treated the group to free pizza and drinks at his tavern. And while there are tales of filthy toilets, even damage in some national parks, here in Yellowstone, the people doing the cleanup right now say that's not the case. They say visitors here are treating the park with respect. In Yellowstone, I'm John Scherer for MTN News.
Xanterra, which runs restaurants, hotels, and other businesses in the park, is also covering the cost of keeping some services running during the shutdown.